on advertisements on this one? It's very 2005.
Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend D.G. Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks podcast.
Diggity dank.
Hello and welcome back to another week of the Nightwing News. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, it is.
Hello, I'm Kristen.
And today we are covering Nightwing number 107 through 109. The only 107 through 109 so far. I won't be able to say that by next year.
Probably not.
So this one is the start of something a little different. Don't even see him in a lot of Nightwing a scene or two in the Nightwing costume for the most part, no.
Right, yeah. So I kind of forget, and I don't know if I actually read it back in the day. So obviously and it was actually only 3 months because they did it.
Yeah.
2 in like doubled up
2 a month. Yeah.
The year ones. But he left his cape at the end of he left his outfit at the end of 100. But did anything happen in those 3 months? I mean, did he talk with Bruce at all? Okay, so so there wasn't any Nightwing appearance, and this was in early 2005. There weren't any germane Nightwing appearances in Batman or anything where he and Bruce had issues.
No, that's what I was going to say. There's no explanation why he has a costume again in these issues. No. I'm like, did he have a spare costume? But then if you leaving one in front of the trophy case on the floor, it kind of seems kind of not as there's not that much weight to it as if he has another costume he can put on.
Maybe he left it there dramatically for Alfred and then he snuck back and took it back.
I wonder if Devin or whoever had planned that he was going to be wearing the Renegade costume in these issues, and for some reason they made her hold off on it.
Well, I mean, I have the feeling that I think based on what she's said in interviews in the past, Devin didn't really want to do any of this.
Oh, no, she didn't want to do any of it, but I'm just saying why he's wearing the Nightwing costume in this, because that Renegade costume coming soon. But I'm like, why wouldn't he at least wear even if he just wore like a ski mask or something,
I don't know.
He always said he needed the extra support from his Nightwing gear because his leg's still hurting from getting shot.
Yeah. I was just wondering about with Bruce because I didn't think anything had happened, but the way he talks in some of these, I was like, did something happen with him and Bruce, or is he just projecting? And so I think it's that.
I always took it as he was projecting. It's more like, oh, hey, I'm going to leave before he disowns me or, something. But I thought they cleared that up by issue 100. It's, Bruce basically told him the shooting wasn't his fault and stuff. But again, is this a trauma response? Because again, we never deal with that rape.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Dido told me to do this response.
Well, yeah. But I'm just saying.
In terms of what it means for the character. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking, that it was him projecting. I just wanted to double check that I hadn't missed something.
No, there's nothing anywhere else to explain any of this. Yeah, no.
Okay. Fair
I mean,
enough.
again, yeah. Of course, it was the oh hey, the Dido told me to. But again, I'm just like, could it be just him? Of course, Dick would never want to blame his family, so could it be him turning inward? Just the fact that it's like, oh hey, I needed somebody, and you guys all left me. Like he even says in the story, Barbara broke up with him. I mean, it's like no one was there to protect me against Tarantula, and
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly still in a bad place.
Oh yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is, I suppose it kind of makes a little bit of. I was kind of like, did something happen? Because of course, some of the stuff that he says about Bruce not liking me and stuff feels appropriate given that what just came first was year one, where Bruce is such a douchebag. But it's like that's actually not chronologically what is happening.
Yeah, I wonder if the first time I read this, I'm like, is he faking this whole thing just to like, because eventually, I mean, we do see him get the black mask by the end of the last issue, the third issue this week. But I'm just like, wait, was this whole an act just to get close to Black Mask, or I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, and I'm wondering if they didn't entirely know. Well,
Yeah.
because if we assume that, I don't know what they were doing. I mean, it sounds like
or
from
again,
what
maybe,
Devin was saying, they didn't want him as much in the costume, I guess, because their plan was he's gonna die, and then if he hasn't been in the costume as much,
Yeah.
it'll be easier for somebody else to go in. And it's like, I don't know, were they trying to tarnish his memory so he wouldn't be as sad when he died? I don't know.
Or maybe Devin thought she was going to have more time to explain stuff that went down between Dick and Bruce. Maybe she thought she was going to start this out. Maybe she thought 107 was going to be 101, and then they dropped year one on her, and and they're like, oh no, you're losing 6 issues, so kind of had to like squeeze what she could into what she had left.
Yeah. But it is, I mean, and maybe it's just because I want to put a better spin on it. But it is something that you could, I mean, he's, has really sad dialogue in there, but you can kind of, it does kind of work with the dark place he's been in and his the trauma response, and it does, and it also can kind of work with. I don't know, it reminds me a little bit, even though this came before that, but with some of the Dick Grayson stuff.
Yeah.
How it seemed like they were doing this and they didn't really have a plan, and then Fabian came in and was like, okay, or no, Dan came in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan Jurgens came in. I was like, okay, we're going to say it was a Court of Owls manipulating his brain the whole time. And so then it kind of retconned the stuff that happened before. And I feel like this could, maybe she was potentially doing it as like, okay, they're kind of telling me he can't be in his costume, blah, blah, blah. But if I'm writing it in such a way that it could easily be retconned at the end of the series with like, haha, I was undercover the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But no, I love the covers on these.
Yeah, the covers are very cool.
And we get, I guess, the new artist Phil Hester, who in this era was also. I mean, it makes sense because Phil Hester was also drawing Green Arrow, so he was doing street level stuff. So it kind of makes sense.
Well, and the thing that is, I mean, even though it's a super awkward situation, like what she's doing, like what she's been placed in. I mean, there is some really cute stuff. And you can obviously see that if Dick is feeling down about himself, then this situation he finds himself in would very much appeal to him, because here he is with a family and the dude is, I mean, the parents are like so in love with him.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, you're the son I always wanted. I love you so much.
Yeah, because it opens up with them having it opens up with them having dinner. It's like, wait, what?
Right.
even the father is like, talk, he's got the mouthy teenage daughter. He goes, "Oh, why couldn't I have a son like you, Crutches?"
I know. Sharp, respectful, good-looking kid. Christ, your pop must be proud. And he's like, but it's like, your dad is proud, but you're having a crisis of confidence in yourself.
But yeah, what did you think of like in between? Once they get in the car, we're getting all these like little flashback panels. Him the night his parents died, Batman and Robin, Titans, then him and Barbara, and then the death of Blockbuster. So is that just a sneaky way to catch everyone up, or is it just all this is flashing in his head?
Maybe it's to like remind people of who he is, so that we're like, what's going on? And yeah, how he got to this.
Yeah, because the father and then his other buddy take Dick out. They go to this house. All the guys like, here, take this gun, and the other guy's like, you don't need one. Yeah. But no, even Dick in his own head when he enters the house. I know what you're thinking. I don't belong here. Well, you're wrong. I belong.
I think this is the one thing that annoys me. And Devin's not the only writer who does it. I think a lot of them do, and maybe DC wants him to do that. Also, I think it's because, now it used to be the house that Superman built, but now it's the house that Batman is supporting. And it's all like Batman, Batman, Batman. But I do not believe whenever the writers are like, I belong here way more than Bruce's mansion. I'm a carny. If not for Batman, is there any question I would have ended up somewhere like this? I'm like, no, I absolutely don't believe that.
Batman, my favorite character. I think you're right. No, you know what? Again, when I read this the first time back when it first came out, I'm like, okay, either he's having issues, or two, if he is undercover, is this him trying to like psych himself? Even if he doesn't believe it, is this him trying to like psych himself up, go over his cover story in his head, maybe?
Right. It could be. I just feel like a lot of writers do this.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it. There's like a thing to portray that, the kids would all have. I mean, kind of like in Robins with Seeley. It was like, oh, if we didn't become Batman, I would have become a spy and then like killed myself doing drugs or whatever. I'm like, I don't think that's what would have happened.
Well, again, too, I think it's always that story. It's like, oh, I saw my parents murdered. I had anger in my heart. Yeah, if Batman hadn't taken me in, I could have come to,
Right. But I think that the innate goodness in Dick would have won out anyway. And I think he would be doing something helpful, but more below the radar. Like, I like it when people in their fan fiction or whatever, instead of him becoming a criminal, are like, he's a social worker or he's a teacher or something. I'm like, yes, that I can see.
Yeah.
But like becoming a spy, absolutely not. There's no way Dick would have become a spy if he wasn't involved with Batman. You don't just go from circus to spy. I mean, at least, I don't think you do. I don't know. But anyway, I did also think it was good that, which I mean, obviously, it's nice that they were still letting, that they didn't tell Devin to totally, as he says, annihilate his character, so that he was still, I don't kill. And he's upset that there was a kid in the house and that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's still fighting on crutches, and then just that whole panel, like, when they I don't know, when the guy throws the baseball bat and almost hits his wife or girlfriend, and I don't know if Dick loses his focus, because then you see his boss basically say, yell, "Crutches, focus!" And then you see like a bat shadow behind him. It's like,
right. Yep. Well, because he's like, Angie, I'm not here for you. Oh yeah, and then he gets a. Well, and it's because the little girl comes in.
yeah. He's gonna beat him with a crutch. Yeah, then the little girl
Yeah.
comes in.
But yeah, definitely when he says focus in the beds, I was like, oh, that was a good touch.
But yeah, the one guy walks from outside. You hear a gunshot from the other one. It's just like Dick's like, wait a minute, I don't hear one gunshot. What did you do? But I guess he's gonna go work. He's gonna work for this other guy, and they're like, oh yeah, he has rules. He's like, I got rules. He was like, no killing, no cops, no capes, and no kids ever. I love the guys like, chicks are okay. You'll hit a chick. He goes, the women I know can give as good as they can get.
Yep. I love this kid. Where'd you find him, Tommy?
Told you, the Bloodhaven PD, or rather newly out of it. Oh yeah, that's the interesting thing, because we saw last week in issue 100, he handed Dick his card as he was storming out of the police department. He says, I didn't think he'd use it, but then a month or so ago, I look up and the kid's standing out in the rain, knocking on my door. So again, if this was your first time reading it, kind of gives you wiggle room. It's like, okay, maybe he was feeling lost and directionless and just called the number, or if he is undercover, that gave him time to prepare. So what's going on?
Got me a regular honorary son. And then he sees that he didn't shoot the kid or the mom. He's like, and then we find out what the gunshot was, which I did kind of like this. I mean, I appreciate that. Okay, Dick's with the mob, but he's clearly with mobsters who are like not that vicious and not that great. They're like very nice as far as mobsters go, because the dude's like, "Oh, I shot his computer. Now no one's getting that data," and they're like,
I know it's a bunch of old men too. See, guys, like, I shot his screen, I shot the glass, and it's like, oh, you shot the screen? Like, he can still, it's
and he's like, yeah, you didn't actually do anything.
He's like, you can't see it. He's like, well, you can buy another one. But Dick says, don't worry about it. I'll go back in and later. He's like, I'll go in later tonight or tomorrow and take care of the files for you. Oh, but then the daughter's like, oh, I heard you guys come in. Want to make sure you're, all right. And he's like, me, I'm fine. You don't have to worry about me. I think he says same thing the guy said to him. He's like, trust me on this, if nothing else. If on nothing else.
Because he doesn't want Sophia worrying about him.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't feel worthy. Also, she's just a kid, so.
And then we get.
And this one's probably the best cover of the three.
Oh yeah, with him sitting there, look like
my favorite one. I know, it looks pretty cool.
Mobbed up. Yeah, that opens up. Yeah, getting a weapon shipment, and it's like.
Also, what I kind of love about these issues is, I mean, the like New Jersey gangster aesthetic is so spot on. The art, everybody's outfits, like the suit with the like no tie and the red shirt that's kind of open that Dick's wearing this whole time. I was like, man, it's like straight out of The Sopranos.
That's right. But yeah, they got a shipment of these AA bullets. It stands for armor assassins. They'll go through that fancy Kevlar those capes wear.
Yeah, and he's like,
But then they take Dick to meet Frida.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, Tommy talked about you nonstop for months. See what I tell you, handsome kid, right? And impeccable manners.
Tommy, and he's like, geez, Tommy, what are you auditioning for an escort service?
But yeah, that's why he got fired. And he's like, I'm not really sure office politics. I'd gotten shot and my attendance record was a little spotty. My girlfriend broke up with me around the same time. And then there was this other thing with this other girl that I'm not, he's like, plus the building I lived in, it got, he was like, it was a bad month. It was not a good month.
It was not a good month. That's an understatement.
Oh, yeah.
Then Fertitta reveals he's connected to Wayne Enterprises. They're like, get out.
I know, because, yeah, Fertitti's like, yeah, he's the heir to Wayne Enterprise. Yeah, or he was. Mr. Wayne and I had a falling out. And that money, it's not mine. I have nothing to do with that anymore. Nothing to do with him.
Again, works both for this is why I was just checking with you. I'm like, nothing actually happened, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it was probably hit when you first read it, like even heavier, because it was because it came right after year one.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course it also works, again on the level if they decide later to be like, haha, he was undercover. I was like, obviously you have to say that.
So, but yeah, this new boss says he wanted him to be a butt man twice a month. He visits, or no, he just goes with the guy. Picks up small contributions from them, like membership dues. But yeah, basically just wants them to protect the other guy while he collects the money.
Sees how people are mad at him.
But then they go to the horse track and three guys in masks try to hold him up. Because this guy he's with is kind of in on it, because he's like, Crutch, just give him the money. This ain't worth getting killed over, And Dick goes, don't worry, Ray, no one's gonna get killed tonight. As he whips one of his crutches at right around the one guy's neck.
Yep.
He's using the other one as a weapon. He's still doing some impressive flips, even though he's still on crutches somewhat.
It's because he's impressive, even on crutches.
I know. And then he's like standing on top of those seats. He's like, come on, this is America. You want money? You got to work for it.
I know. That's so funny.
But yeah, I mean, he's flipping. He like grabs like the handrail there and just like spins around, kicks the guy.
Yeah. Also this guy. And then there's something with, he gets him and the guy's like, wow, I'm bleeding. And he falls down. And Dick's like, presses off his shoulder. But then he sees he sees the gun and he remembers that guy, that's Ray, right? Yeah, Ray was showing it to him. So he's like, So I guess Dick is initially suspicious that something's up with Ray.
When Ray is like, he's like, boy, I can't wait to see what you can do when your leg's all healed. I love. He's like, where'd you learn to do all that kung fu stuff, anyways? Dick, some crazy old guy taught me.
It's true. Oh, but yeah, then he's like, listen, I'm really sorry about this. The kids knew. So yeah, so he wanted them to get robbed.
Oh yeah, I think it was kind of a thing where Ray was gonna like let them take the money and say they got held up, and then meanwhile, Ray and these guys were probably gonna split the money or something, something.
This computer still looks super old.
Oh yeah, it's 2005.
I know. I mean, that's why I'm like, wow.
I was gonna say, even in 2005, I don't think we had a lot of flat screens yet.
No, yeah, I guess probably not. And I guess 2005 still a lot of people, they only use it at home, because by 2005 I was in college, so I was mostly using a laptop. So
Yeah.
I've kind of forgotten about desktops, because I mean now a lot of people at home, even if they don't really take their computer out of the house, they have a laptop instead of a desktop. Okay. Up there on the ceiling.
But we see Dick. Yeah, he goes back to the house to take care of the computer files in his Nightwing costume. Some crazy old guy. Yeah, after he says some crazy old guy taught me, and then they show him his Nightwing. He's like, he also taught me the value of a secret identity and state-of-the-art body armor. Though I don't think that's how he imagined I'd use it. Just I promised Tommy I'd retrieve a computer disk he left behind during a recent correctional visit to a brigade problem by the name of Gina. And if I walk in his crutches, I risk embarrassing Tommy and freaking out Gina's left behind girlfriend. So yeah, they show her running in the room, and he's hanging on, like, basically up by the ceiling. And he's like, my leg's still too messed up to climb around in stealth mode without the support afforded by my Nightwing gear.
Yep.
So here I am practicing my powers of rationalization. I should be okay as long as nobody ever sees me in this.
But again, like, it works because you don't know. I mean, is he gonna make a copy of that disc? Keep one, give one to. I mean, I don't know if he does, but he could if we're doing the like undercover angle.
Yeah. I guess I don't know if the whole thing was just they didn't want Gino to have it, so.
No room for damsels or remorse. No remorse, but the damsels are harder to shake off because Sophia's been going through his stuff.
Oh yeah, that was the big cliffhanger in this issue. He actually changes before he goes back, and then when he gets in the house, she's in his closet, and he's like, "What are you doing in here? Are you all right? Have you been going through my stuff?" And she's like, "I was trying to find a shirt or something." She was like, "But you've been hiding something." She's like, "You've been hiding something from all of us." Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, you know what she's thinking. Right.
But what's interesting is in here we've got and I've got an advertisement for the death or the return of Donna Troy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's interesting because I guess this is another. I mean, they do it and it kind of works, but Nightwing is being Nightwing over in the Outsiders and in the Return of Donna Troy. So it's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, again, it's like, wonder how the timeline works out on that, but yeah.
It's very convoluted.
So, yeah, so we had that cliffhanger. I'm like, I read this the first time. I'm like, wait a minute. He left one Nightwing suit in the cave. He was wearing one, so hopefully she hasn't found yet another one. Yes. Yeah, Villains United tie-in. Yeah, with that Black Mask cover. As I said, the one thing about the covers of this time, they were all pretty good.
Yes, yeah. And so what's up with this Villains United? So is that happening?
That was one of the many. That was one of the many miniseries that was tying into Infinite Crisis. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think the Villains United again. I think it was Alexander Luthor was trying to unite, pretending to be the regular Earth Lex Luthor was trying to unite like army of most of the supervillains.
Okay.
Because he gets killed.
I'm kind of forgetting, but when does 1 year later?
1 year later takes place. Well, remember there was Infinite Crisis, then the 52 series was supposed to be bridge the gap of that year, and then 1 year later chronologically takes place after that. So 1 year later it showed up the month out, after Dick and Barbara get engaged, and then then next thing you know he's in New York.
Yeah, so I was just looking. So 1 year later starts with 118.
Yes.
But they were obviously building up to Infinite Crisis for a long time.
Yeah, because it was like a 7-issue series. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because I'm seeing here we've got
Oh yeah, they did a bunch of prequels. Yeah,
got an Infinite Crisis crossover 116, 117 must have to do with Infinite Crisis. That must be the one with, I mean, he and Barbara are on the cover, so that must be the one where it's like.
Yeah, well, the big thing that ties
proposes.
one of the big things that ties it to Infinite Crisis is when they bomb Bloodhaven. So.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because Jason was back by this. It's weird. I think in my head I have the wrong year for Infinite Crisis. I keep thinking Infinite Crisis was like 2007, and I guess it was really in 2006.
Maybe you're thinking of Final Crisis. Yes, they've done many Crisis Kids.
And like Identity Crisis, I don't know. Yeah, I guess they jammed a lot of stuff into the early 2000s.
Oh, the 2000s, yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap! I mean, that's a lot of crises in like 7 years. Because I mean, Tim's dad didn't die until in the 2000s, right?
No, he did. Identity Crisis. That was like, was that like 2003 or something? 2003.
Right. So I mean, it wasn't like it was in the 90s. I mean, that was.
Yeah, they crammed a lot into 2000s. Again, I think that's when we started doing one event after another after another.
Right. Yeah.
These days we start one before the last one's even over.
Events are overlapping. All right, but anyway.
So yeah, so Sophia's like, oh, I know your secret. She's like, then she pulls out a picture of Barbara. Who's she?
Also, like, what is this that Barbara's in? It looks like a tablet or something, but they didn't have those in 2005.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it like is it just like a fancy picture frame, I guess?
Yeah, maybe it's like a photo album, but the thing's on the wrong side. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, I was gonna say, is it one of those? Do you ever see those folding ones where you have a picture on one side and a picture?
Oh,
on the other?
yeah,
I didn't
right.
know if it was one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Sophia's like, who's this? Her name's Barbara. She's one of my best friends in the world, but not your girlfriend. No, not at the moment. We broke up. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna get her back. I was waiting for music to start. I'm gonna get that girl back. I've loved her since I was a kid. She's the only thing that ever made sense to me, no matter what else has happened. But I'm not saying she's the only woman I've ever loved. I mean, truthfully, the women in my life. Well, maybe I've been a little too appreciative, but with Babs, it's special. It makes me a better. And Sophia throws the lamp at him. Because I mean, as I guess we're supposed to take this, she has a crush on Dick, but.
Well, I mean, when he says with the women in my life, I mean, he could be referring to Corey. That's
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
That's the other main one.
Yeah.
That's like the other main one.
But yeah, the parents come. The mother takes Sophia to bed, but yeah, the father's just like, I think my soap's got a crush on you there, Crutches. He's like, but she's only 15.
I know. With a post like yours, who can blame her? The dad cracks me up. He's so nonchalant. He's like, don't worry about it. She'll either grow out of it or you'll grow into it.
Yeah, I mean, that comes off very creepy, but I believe, I mean, again, no excuse, but I think that's like old school Italians. Like, I forget what the age is, but I think like my wife's grandparents, when they met over there, I think they were both pretty young, or at least her grandmother was. So back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds creepy, but like, to be honest, I mean, he's right. I mean, that you can't, like, that is the only two options, is she'll get over it or you'll get into it.
Yeah.
Like, you'll either not be together and she'll just have to deal, or you will be together and you'll have to deal. It's just hilarious the way he refers to it.
But it just seems so weird that the father, again, I guess, Italian traditions, but again, it's so weird the father's like, oh yeah, hey, if you want to be with my 15-year-old, that's fine. It's like, wait, what?
Well, I'm assuming he's only like that because obviously he loves Crutches.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, again, that should be extra creepy because didn't he say he considers him like a son?
Well, but if he marries his daughter, then the son, it works both ways.
Yeah, but again, at this point, Dick's probably what? He's got to be at least 20, 21.
I mean, at this point, I feel like he's older than that. I'd say he's like 10 years older.
That's what I said, at least, if not older.
Yeah.
Because in those Titans books, wasn't he talking about being like 19 or 20. So yeah, he's got to be early to mid 20s here. It's like,
yeah, I mean, I would think. I always felt like I kind of pictured him as being close by the end of his, like by the end of the old 52. I always pictured Dick as kind of being close to 30, probably like 28 or 29. Just because so much stuff has happened. And if you try to have a timeline, it's like he's probably about 20.
but you know what? I never see him getting past mid 20s because it's such the weird thing because it's like most of the time I don't think they ever want to age Bruce past like I don't know 30 and 35, and so Dick has to be younger than him, but he has to be older than Jason and Tim and Damien. It's when you start stacking everyone up, it's just like
right. But I was like, whatever. Bruce is dead, so he's an old man now. But I think I also feel that because right around the time that I got back into comics, I was in grad school and I was reading these, and so it was very easy for me to be like, Dick feels like he's about my age. But then the new 52 happened, and I went off, and I kept aging, and Dick got to age in reverse.
yeah, well, that's what me and Lilith were saying a while ago. It's like, you know what, if they want to do something bold, bring Dick in as Batman again, kind of like semi-retire Bruce. You bring him in for like every so often for big events or something, but Bruce can kind of go into semi-retirement. And
that will absolutely never happen.
At least not permanently. Never. Yeah, no.
No.
I know.
It was also very easy. I mean, I could really, particularly when I was in grad school, I felt like Barbara was my age, or maybe a little bit old. That like, if I was Dick, Barbara was like the grad student who was a year or two older than me and was so much wiser and could help me out with their brilliant wisdom. And now Barbara's like one of my students.
I was gonna say, I know I've been in comics too long because like when Tim Drake first appeared, I was reading, and like me and Tim were pretty close to the same age. Now I'm probably older than Bruce, so yeah.
Right, yeah, and Tim is like, I think Tim's finally 18.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm convinced he's 18 because he's going to be living on his own in a different part of in a different part of Gotham this month when his new series starts. So I feel like he needs to be 18 for that.
I remember when he started, he was like 12 or 13. I was like, oh, hey, me too.
Yup.
So yeah, after the whole Sophia conversation, they're talking about Amato's the line crosses. We're crossing the line, and I've got you covered. You are totally staked. Everything I have is yours. My home, my rep, my daughter. Ooh, anything you need, Crutches. If it's mine, it's yours. So I gotta ask. I gotta know you're good here. That you want this. This is what you want. Because if you don't come up clean, Dick, if anything about you comes up wrong, that's on me. On me, capiche? So he's like, yeah. He's like, Tommy, in all honesty, if I could go back to my other life, I probably would. But that's just not an option. I'm in this now. I'm going to stay in this with you.
Yeah, that was another reason. And I was like, I feel like he's projecting there, but I just wanted to double check with Phil that something didn't happen with Bruce. But again, I feel like chronologically reading these books in order, you would feel like, oh yeah, I can kind of see that because you just got off year one where Bruce was a major dickbag. But like even at the end of year one, they kind of sort of reconciled. And
yeah, no, there was nothing that you could see this coming. And again, I'm like, whether this is real or a cover story, I'm like, either way, isn't it weird that he uses his real name?
Yes, but the guy knew his real name, I think, because the guy saw him at the guy saw him at the police department.
Yeah. Plus, we're gonna be like, oh hey, I'm an ex-cop. Yeah, I get, yeah.
Yeah, so he couldn't really show up and be like, hey, I'm Chester, whatever. Because the guy already knew him. But yeah.
Oh God, so then the next morning when he's back with Ray and he's pulling a Rocky punching meat at
I know. But his little metal thing on his leg is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got like a metal brace on his knee. I guess he doesn't need the crutches now. I know, because Ray's like, oh, look, you back up on both feet. He's like, we'll have to come up with a new nickname for you soon.
But
And
I think it would be smart, even if your leg got better, to continue being crutches and to keep going the crutches around with you, because those crutches make great weapons.
that's true. How about Black Mask Boxer?
Like, no, crutches is way better.
Black Mask? Fertitta says that we've been called to come in. Black Mask is ready to expand his territory. He needs some new blood. The major leagues. Oh, and Ray, Amada wanted me to ask you something. Oh, he wants to know how come the heavies crutches put in the hospital for you, the ones who kept coming at you for the weekly earnings, then turn out to be old crew of yours. They're on the Ray.
Yeah, and you see Dick's face. He's like, ugh. I feel like he suspected it, but
yeah, Dick's like, Tommy, no. But Dick's like, yeah, Tommy, put the gun down. I'm here. You don't need a gun. I'm here. What do you do, Crutch? He's like, what do you do? Some days you just can't trust no one. Make sure you know what to expect from yourself, and you deliver.
yeah, it's good because also, Dick is here keeping the mobsters from killing each other.
Yeah, you think that's? Do you think he feels like that's, I don't know, not maybe his penance, or maybe just, oh hey, while I'm here, they won't kill each other. I'll beat them, but they won't kill each other.
Yeah. But see, then he says Ray's deflection could be a death sentence for Gino's family. Joe, check on him.
Because he's back in the Nightwing costume and watching Gino's house. After 39 sleepless hours and counting.
He sees those guys watching, and so he lets them know his house is being watched.
Yeah, there's two guys in a car watching the house. So he's like, yeah.
See, and I like this stuff because I read this, but I honestly kind of forget how it ends. But again, this you see, he's still doing good. And definitely if you want to go with, it was undercover all along, this helps for sure.
Yeah. So he punches through the windshield and threatens the guys. Yeah. Uncle Ray, the house being watched. If Angie or Laney, so much of scraping needs coming out of his hide, and that's after I take care of you. But then he goes back to the house, and Tommy's wife's waiting for him. It's after 3. Don't any of the women in this family sleep?
She's like, no, not really.
He hasn't slept without pills in years. Sit. He's like, Lynette, what is it? And she's like, it's the trip you're taking with Tommy. I'm not supposed to know anything about the business, but she's like, I'm married to the man for 26 years. I know what it means to him and what you mean to him. And don't go to Gotham with Tommy. She goes, without you, he won't. He's very good at what he does, but he belongs here at this level. Do you know what I'm saying? He won't get promoted without you. And then Sophia was like their miracle child. They tried such a long time to have a kid, and she's like, yeah, I know. But after her, I know Tommy still wanted a boy. Tommy will be disappointed if you don't go, but he'll get over it. I know he will. You could stay here. Amato, he'd let you do anything, and Sophia just adores you.
I know, I really like this time that his wife, she's like, yeah, he thinks that, he thinks I don't know, but she's like, of course I know. I've been married to him for 26 years. I'm not an idiot. It's like Jim Gordon, I'm a detective! But he's like, I'm your wife and not dumb.
I know, but then he's just like, it'll be okay, and
But yeah, I like her I think she makes a good point that like he belongs at this level, and she's kind of thought it through, and it's like at this level he's safe,
Oh
and
yeah,
she was glad they didn't have a son because I mean it's stupid, but that's old
yeah,
school mob Italian probably that if he'd had a son he would have been more ambitious to move up, but since they have a daughter,
yeah. She just thinks he's gonna get killed, and she's like, you guys could be like the kings of New Jersey. Come on. But
I'll be okay.
but she's just like, oh honey, I can't believe you grew up without a mother. You're just so good. Better. I had an Alfred.
Yeah, well, he had a mom too at the beginning,
Oh yeah,
and his parents were so good.
he had macaroni.
Right.
Uh,
So far, Dick's. I mean, Tom did it a little bit, but that was mostly just because it's like it's really not bad anymore to have sex before you're married. But Dick's parents are still about the only Robin's parents that haven't been tainted in some way, right? Because I mean, Tim's more like
I don't know that John Grayson. I mean, he has a sister now. Remember, he has a half sister
I
now.
know, but that's like not really bad.
Well, it depends. Were they married or were they not?
No, they weren't married. I mean, it's 2022, Phil. People don't really consider premarital sex bad anymore.
No. I'm just saying. It was before John Grayson was married, right? He didn't cheat on his wife, right?
Yeah, it was before. She's older than Dick. It was before. That was made very clear. And in the
That's what I thought I remembered. Yeah.
and that was clear in the comics and in the interview. Tom says that too. He's like, yeah, it was before he met Mary.
Oh yeah, no. There's uproar if they try to like dirty up like Thomas and Martha Wayne. Oh yeah, no. There's always fan uproar about that.
Right, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, this sounds bad. I suppose it's my bias, but like Thomas and Martha Wayne are really rich people, so I have an easier time believing they have some shady stuff in their past, although they would have done a few things. And I mean, Jason's parents were already crappy. And then, of course, Damien's parents. I mean, his mom is Talia, so that's international criminal kind of thing. And then Tim's parents, sometimes they're okay, and sometimes they're really bad.
Yeah. I mean, in different versions, they had like Martha like related to like the Arkham, so like there was like a history of like mental illness in the family. So it's like they kind of add that sometimes in the backstory, but it's not her fault. But there's stuff in
Right,
the
that's not
backstory.
bad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes they make Thomas like a little bit suspect.
Oh yeah. Because when Dr. Hurt first showed up, he claimed to be Thomas Wayne, and everyone was like, no, don't you do that.
Yeah. But Dick's parents are still the ones that haven't been messed with, which is good.
Yeah.
But I like that she says that like she can tell even though he's trying to be a mobster that like, oh sweetie.
But Dick's just that she walks away. Dick's thinking it's just this once. I'll be okay as long as I don't get personally involved. So is he just worried that he's gonna get them killed or something?
I'm not sure. Well, that picture at the end where again he's in the red
Oh yeah.
with his vest, and then when he's rolling his sleeves up after taking the coat off, I'm like, dang, that's pretty hot.
Yeah, when they take him to see Black Mask, like, oh, you got to prove yourself. So yeah, he calls in.
Yeah, I'm like, man, he's looking pretty dapper and dapper for beating the crap out of these people.
So I think, yeah, with those gloves too. I love when Tommy's like, only 5. Even Tommy's like, only 5.
Yeah.
Crutches here knows kung fu, and Black Mask actually.
And then Black Mask having to show he's in the know. He's like, actually, it looks like karate with capoeira influences, but I don't care if it's ballet so long as it gets the job done.
So I mean, Black Mask recognizes some of the fighting styles, so shouldn't he be like, oh hey, his fighting style looks familiar? I mean, even if he can't pin it to Nightwing specifically, shouldn't he be like, hey?
Well, I think he's not supposed to be that good at it.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, so while Dick's taking out the thugs, yeah, Black Mask's talking to Tommy. He's like, you're interested in expansion? There's a lot of action in New Jersey, and we've already got Gotham in your pocket. I just feel like we can help you, pick up something a little more upcoming. More turfs, more money, right?
And then if we're thinking about Bloodhaven. Since that Blockbuster guy got clipped, the place has been wide open. So yeah, so Tommy's even telling me, he's like, yeah, it's true. Crutches used to be a cop there, so he knows it pretty well. Black Masker, unfortunately, was a cop. Seriously, I trust this kid with my life. I would not have brought him to you. So Black Mask even says he doesn't have a lot of information, what's happening. I need a scout, someone to go in and take a look around, see what's standing in your way. And Dick says, I'll go. There's no sense in sending Tommy or Ray just for recon work. Then Black Mask, very well. We'll look for mob bosses, gang leaders, capes, vigilantes. I need a number of how many people are there who might give us trouble. Then he said, as Dick throws the last guy on the desk, I love Black Mask. It's like, and Crutches, no matter how many you may find, come back and tell me that number is 0.
Yeah.
Which does not bode well for next week. The first issue of next week, kids. That cover.
So true.
Nightwing holding a certain young Timothy Drake off a rooftop. Yeah. Oh.
Gasp.
Gadzooks. So, besides being a sharp dresser, what did you think of our boy this week?
I feel like when I read it, and even now, I'm still inclined to. I see him as kind of being down on himself, of course, but I'm still inclined to interpret this as like he is sort of he's deep undercover.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I choose to interpret it.
I know that's again the first time I read this. I'm like, wait, maybe he's undercover because I mean he's getting pretty close to Black Mask here. Maybe he just feels his hands are going to get a little dirty. I don't.
Yeah.
So, any other thoughts?
I think that was it.
Okay.
The covers were good.
Oh yeah. Because yeah,
and it was weird to just suddenly go into it, but now knowing that she wasn't really supposed to show him in his Nightwing outfit that much, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
The more I know, the more it sucks, and I feel like Devin was really hamstrung by the editors and stuff when she was writing.
That was it was a good story, especially once you find out, how much they had her hands tied on this thing.
Right, that's what I mean. Is like knowing that there was a lot of editorial interference makes it like, oh, this was pretty good, particularly seeing how you dealt with the weird constraints they put you under.
Oh yeah.
But she wasn't allowed to say, like, FYI. It's like if I assign my students a paper, like, okay, you're writing a superhero comic, but the superhero can't be in their superhero identity. What would you do? And then, you have people trade it in class. People would know, and they would be like, oh, this is a cool exercise. But she wasn't allowed to say, hey, my assignment was,
yeah, no.
I can't put him in. So people are like, why isn't he in his costume? And she got a lot of crap for that.
Yeah, that's why I feel bad about some of these writers, because sometimes I know they get editorial mandates, and then, if people don't like it, guess who gets the blame? The writer.
Right. Because, knowing that her editorial mandate was he can't really be Nightwing, I'm like, well, that's actually really good and pretty creative and a good way of getting around it and tying it in, and it feels like he's undercover. But, she wasn't allowed to tell us that.
I was going to say, yeah, because next week we'll be doing 110 and 111, continuing this. But then we'll have to take a break because for all the October issues. And then, but yeah, it's like the middle of November. We'll get back and finish off the whole Renegade thing.
Right. Well, he ends the mob stuff in 111 and
Yeah.
then moves on to Renegade in the next one.
I think, yeah. So yeah, we'll kind of type the mob stuff, and then get the Renegade in November. So.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff is annoying. It would really annoy me. I mean, I'm not really suited to write comics anyway, but it would really annoy me. I mean, I guess you just had to develop an ability to not care about it, but it would really annoy me to have these constraints and not be able to let people know and have people rip into me for something that isn't my fault.
I wonder if they are allowed to say or anything. Not because I mean, these days, I wonder if a writer can go on Twitter and be like, "Yeah, guys, they kind of told me to do this," and my hands are
I
tied.
don't know.
I don't know. Because I know with big things like New 52, like I think Lil said, like some of those people had like NDAs they signed and stuff because I know what was it like a couple months ago or something, or was it? Oh, maybe last year. I saw writers started talking about their like horrible experiences with New 52. I'm like, why are they talking about it 10 years later? And Lilith was like, oh, their NDAs probably ran out. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it's that, and I think with Devin, I don't think she ever signed anything. I just think it was she waited, and then after a certain amount of time, she was like, "They're not going to hire me back," or like, "I don't want to come back," and because she didn't work for them for a long time, and then she did various interviews around like 2014, 2015, explaining some of this stuff, and now she started doing some stuff for DC, but it's totally different people.
yeah,
So I
again,
feel like she did not gel with Didio, or he didn't like her, or he was maybe sexist or something.
yeah, and it's not her. I think he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because there's a lot of people you'll see in DC like I think around this time you don't see them working for DC, and eventually they do come back. So it probably was the Dido.
Yeah, I suppose that's the other crummy thing about work. It would be hard to work in comics, I think, because of course, why do you want to work in comics? Because you love comics.
Yeah.
But then you might have a bad experience, and that sucks.
Yeah. And again, I mean, between editors and then like if a big events come, it's like, oh hey, we're gonna be doing this. They thought they were gonna be killing Dick, so it's like we're gonna be doing this with this character, so you have to do blah 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 blah, blah in the book, and
Yeah,
exactly.
such is life.
All right. So, anything else?
Not spent.
So yes, like I said, next week, Nightwing 110 and 111. We'll kind of tie up the mobster stuff, and we'll get the Renegade later in November. But then, yes, in 2 weeks, our spooky Halloween stories begin. Our month of Halloween, because the first
All
week
right. Well,
the first week of October will be Batman Scarecrow year 1 and 2. And then we got week 2 will be that there's a bunch of detective and Batman issues.
oh yeah, that's with Dala or Darla or whatever. Dala, I think it is.
Yeah. So I'll read that list as we get closer. Got the
Sounds
Midnighter.
good.
Got the Midnighter with vampire stuff. Yeah. Oh, that's right. We're doing the search for Ray Palmer, Red Rain, which ties in perfectly because on the Batman show, Lilith and I are going to be covering those three the Batman Red Rain trilogy. So
Boom! I've already got that one out. I got it out special. It's been here. I've just been waiting for the moment.
But Lilith and I are going to be covering those original Batman vampire issues. So it kind of we're got lots of tie-in kids here. Woo!
Yeah.
All right, kids. So yes. So send us your thoughts on all of that. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find Nightwing News on Facebook, on Twitter. Find links to all the various social medias for all the DC and Marvel shows we do. And once again, in September, the only female voice you're going to hear on these podcasts is sitting right there. So holding it down. I know, because before Lilith left, she's like, "Oh man, it's gonna be such a sausage fest." I'm like, "Kristen is still here." She's like, "Oh, thank God."
That's right. I'll hold it down.
That's right. All right. So yes, And speaking of, yes, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everything we do gets a video on the YouTube channel. So smash that subscribe button so you don't miss a moment of any of the good stuff.
Smash it.
And of course, the Patreon, please. We're paying for this out of our own pocket. Every little bit helps, but $3 to $5 get you early access to creator interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats.
I got the good mic out for you guys.
And of course, superhero movie brackets, where you can also find Kristen and myself. So if that's not enough, you can also pick yourself up Capes and Lunatics and Capes Lunatics Sidekicks merch. Find it all at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics. But if you want to pick up something good, go on Amazon and pick up Dick Grayson Boy Wonder. Once again, you don't get enough Dick Grayson in your life. So yeah, go pick up Dick Grayson Boy Wonder. So always, again, there's always time for reading, kids. So pick it up. All right. So thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us, kids. Do what you gotta do and come back next week. Trust me on this, if nothing else. You will want to be here next week. Yeah, because The Sopranos was on at that point when this was out. This was 2005. I
think Sopranos was like 99 to... No, I just saw something that it was like been 15 years since The Sopranos ended or something.
Oh. Yeah, I forget what year it ended, yeah. So yeah, it's one more week of The Mob, and then we get some spooky Halloween tales. So you're going to want to come back same wing time.
Same wing channel.
The Nightwing News. The Crutches News.
Crutches.